Welcome to Launch Code, a premier business podcast, starring Evan Hafer, Matt Best, and Jared Taylor.
Hey, welcome back to Launch Code, the premier business podcast. Today we are in our San Antonio studio, finally settled down, and we can start running guests through and having call-ins and everything like that. But we're kicking this one off with a local friend of ours that's been here for a few years, Mr. Michael Mihalski.
Close.
Give me that one. Mihalski.
Yeah.
Mike Mihalski, and now we've known you for almost 4 years now.
Yeah, from just about the beginning then.
And that is when you started Sons of Liberty Gunworks.
That's right.
Which is located in South San Antonio, Texas. So, Mike, let's talk real quick about your history in the military upon... I'm sorry, not the military, but
civilian
history.
scum, man.
History in firearms, like because I know you started as just a super into building and mechanics of it. You know,
Right.
Dug deep in the books, deep into the science, and you know, where did that take you to the point of saying, you know, I can open a gun shop and I can create my own guns?
Yeah, I think everybody in the firearms industry were end users, you know, first, right? People have a passion for shooting. That's kind of my story. I've always loved firearms. I mean, ever since I was a kid, and I've owned just about every kind of weapon you can imagine. And on every one of those, there was always something I would have tweaked or done a little bit different. And I also looked at the gun industry as a kind of the direction that it was going, and I thought we could actually improve some stuff. I didn't want to come on the scene to be new just for the sake of being new. I actually wanted to improve the platform and contribute to that. And that's kind of how we got started.
Now, so before you guys, you know, before you even choose a name and come up with a shop, like, were you gunsmithing for your buddies and like is that kind of how this went down?
Yeah, so I took an armorer's school, and I took the little bit of information I got from there, and then it really kind of snowballed the more and more research, and I started looking at this rifle almost in a clinical way, you know? And so I started building rifles on my kitchen table. The first 20 rifles I built were for a couple of team guys, a couple of Marines, you know? And it started to really pick up momentum. Guys were pretty happy with the work I was doing until I got a call from the ATF. And they told me pretty much to either get a license or shut down. I got
Stop building guns.
Stop building guns in your. I shipped 50 rifles to the state of Alaska in 1 month, and so
They're just like, why? Why is this guy doing this?
yeah, I mean that's a lot of rifles to one state in 1 month, even for, you know, a company, much less a guy, you know, tinkering on his coffee table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from there, like you said, you and I talking before the show, you're like, I knew a lot about guns. I didn't know anything about business. So
Oh, God, yeah.
from that point, you know, after getting that notification from the ATF, like, were you just like, pick up the Business for Dummies book and like, let's see where this goes? Or where do you go from there?
Well, the coffee table that I was building guns on, I lost the coffee table. I was living with this girl, and she ended up kicking me out, and some Elmer Fudd looking motherfucker moved in. Anyway, so I was in a pretty low spot, man. And I'd gone out to visit my brother out in California. He's a team guy, and he's looking at me like this pathetic mess. He's like, dude, you need to go and start a gun company. Like, you need to go do this. And so he actually helped me come up with the name Sons of Liberty, obviously the theme, you know, patriotism, 2A, all that kind of good stuff. And I came back home. It was kind of a serendipitous. I met my business partner through a mutual friend. He wanted to. I didn't know him at all at the time. We kind of met randomly through a friend, and he had a lot of workspace. He had about 20,000 square feet of unused space that he was willing to put up for free, you know, to help get this thing started. So that was a super lucky.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, that's a just being able to walk into a location, you know, not worrying about, you know, a 5-year lease or, you know, am I gonna generate enough revenue to pay for this thing? So I mean, that's amazing. And so did he come in monetarily as well?
Honestly, he his vision for this thing, I think, was more of a hobby. He wanted to kind of get into the gun business as more of a kind of a hobby way to enhance our own collections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the best rifle company in the country. And I mean, I don't think he took me very seriously at first. So he did put a little bit of money in. I actually sold my vehicle, and after I paid off,
these are stories everybody's got to hear.
Yeah.
Because this is what real business comes down to in the beginning.
I sold my truck, dude, and after I paid off some debts, I had about $7,000 to my name, and I sunk it all into,
parts,
and that's how we started. And we started with $7,000 3.5 years ago, and we're doing multi-million-dollar years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how many employees do you have?
We have 11 full-time guys right now. All of them are.
Most of them are all veterans.
All of them, yeah, pretty much all of them are veterans, with the exception of the first guy we hired.
Awesome.
But he's like the Rain Man of guns. He's a savant. Very nice guy.
You've even got like international veterans working there.
Oh yeah. Scotty. Yeah. That guy uses the word like cunt as a comma. Man, he's great.
So you sell your truck, you buy parts. Where are you at when it comes to, okay, how am I going to turn these into finished rifles, and how am I going to find customers to buy these?
So here's a great story about when we started. So that there's a certain bolt that we use in our gun for our bolt carrier groups, and there was only one bolt that I was going to use. If I could not get that bolt, I would have not started the gun company, okay? Because that's how critical it was to me. So I called the machine company that OEMs these. I called the vice president of that company every day for about 30 days straight until he finally picked up the phone to talk to me. Now, their minimum order was 500 pieces, and there's no way in hell I could afford that, all right? But I called him and harassed him so much, he finally asked me, like, how the fuck do I make you go away? Like, will you promise never to call me again? And I'm like, yeah, so how many do you want? I'm like, I need 10. I need 10 bolts, man, and that's how we started. But it was that kind of almost obsessive, almost just compulsive persistence. If I did not get this one thing, then I felt like it would have derailed my entire plan to build the best rifles in the country. And that's what he had to do. I mean, pretty shameless.
So he gave you, he let you do a PO of 10 bolts.
Yeah.
You build the guns out. Now whose hands do they go into first?
Like I said, some of the, again, with Sons of Liberty, we had a couple team guys, a couple of, shooting instructors, like some pretty big name people, and it helped us like have almost instant legitimacy when you have those kinds of guys supporting the brand. Yeah. It's like Tiger Woods, suggesting a putter, you listen,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
And so after that, like, you sell the first round of rifles. It's still you, right? Employee one.
20-hour days. I mean, because
You're
lot
doing
of
all the paperwork with the ATF. That's taxing.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm so disorganized too. I mean, this is the stuff that I'm so grateful now that we have compliance people, in place to keep me out of prison. I mean, that's because we obviously been to the shop. We have a full bar there.
Yeah.
We like to have drinks.
ATF.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so. But doing the paperwork and building the guns and then trying to also market, we didn't have a marketing budget. We actually have never spent money on advertising until like the last maybe 4 or 5 months. But getting out there and being really active in these like Facebook groups and trying to build, following on social media and stuff. I mean, that's a full-time job, especially if you don't have any money to advertise. So building guns, advertising, phone calls, just beating on doors. That was me up until right about the first 8 months. Yeah.
Now, what was the second PO that you made to your OEM bolt guys?
I think we had gotten at that point like up to like 50. Like
so he gave you carte blanche to do a modified order as long as you left him alone.
As long as I left him alone. And I had to only contact him through email. Yeah. I'm lucky he didn't put a restraining order on me. I talked to him.
Do you still use these bolts today?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you up to their minimum now?
Oh, we crush it. We crush it.
Has he come back though and said, you know what? All right, I'll give it to you.
We get Christmas cards now. He sends us the Christmas card, and I talked to him about a week ago, and we were kind of laughing about that. I'm like, hey, dude, thanks for thanks for taking that shot on us, because now, we crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. So going into your second year, now you have things established. You have your workspace. When do you hire your first employee, and why? What was the reason behind it?
So Dylan was our first employee, and this is the Rain Man, and he just kind of showed up one day, and he just wouldn't leave. And
There's always those guys in a gun shop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he just would show up one day and he wouldn't leave. And
Hey, you want me to sweep? You're like, sure, if you're going to be here.
That's exactly. Well, remember, I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
I had sold my. So my first employee, actually, his job was to pick me up and take me home from work.
That's awesome.
But super meticulous in his work, and a weird fucking guy, dude. But he truly believes in the cause, man, and so he was our first employee, and that took a lot of pressure off. So here's the thing. See, for us, I can teach somebody how to build a weapon to the Sons of Liberty standard, right?
Yeah.
But I can't teach someone how to be a cool guy.
Yeah.
So we hire basically, I don't want any experience per se with that stuff. What I want is like the right personality, humor, attitude, mindset.
Because you're going to be standing next to him in a bay all day.
Exactly, man. I mean, you have to have, it's kind of a twisted sense of humor and a little thick skin. And I mean, and you can't teach that to somebody, right? That's why veterans do so well with us, because they're coming to the table kind of already.
You're giving me an idea. I think me and Dave need to go down there and we do a video where you make me build a gun.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I'd be honored, man.
Oh, yeah. We're putting that on the board, Dave.
That'd be
Build
honored,
a gun
man.
at Sons of Liberty, because we're going to a lot more video content with this stuff now. We've got to make it interesting, and I want to learn. I want to learn and see the process of what is the Sons of Liberty standard. Walk us through it right now.
So, I mean, obviously, the first part would be like materials, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference. There's a quantifiable difference in. Cosmetically, a lot of these things all look the same, but when you really start to get under the hood and you really start seeing what's going on, those materials are going to make a difference. Bolt steel, extractor type, spring type, buffer weights, gas port sizes, dimpling, all those tiny minutia. They don't look cool on Instagram. That's not something you can't take a picture of your gas port size and post it, right? So nobody gives a shit, and they overlook stuff like that. But when you need to count on that weapon through some sort of sustained string of fire, that gas port is what's going to either push that rifle a little bit further, or the thing just kind of
Folds up,
stops functioning. Same thing with buffer weights. That's the kind of stuff that is not sexy, but our rifles work. I mean, they just work. They're sledgehammers. That's why we've grown.
So that's amazing. So Dylan, your first employee, did he come from a weapons building background, or was he someone, as you started to teach, kind of got the concept and started to innovate?
He had an interest in weapons, but not but he had no real weapon experience. I mean, so yeah, when we brought him on, I was really impressed with how quickly he learned, and then how he actually improved. I mean, his work was cleaner than mine. Like staking a castle nut, it looks like a caveman went in there and beat some shit, right? When I do it, but with him, it was very clean. And I could tell, like, okay, that's good for the brand,
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
You fucking detail is on point.
exactly, yeah.
So rolling into year two, at what point is it like, okay, this is no longer just me and Dylan's show?
So obviously, Kyle, my business partner, he's very, very organized, and he has an experience with like retail and stuff. So without him, none of this would have happened. But this thing turned into a business probably around this going into the second year, whenever it wasn't just your friends anymore buying your product.
Now it's people are saying, hey, I've heard such good things. I need one of these.
It was all word of mouth. And what's neat is that you're getting orders from cities you've never been to and states you've never been to,
I've heard the same thing. When Daniel from Ground Style came on the show, he was like, I celebrated the first time an order came in from somebody that wasn't my family or
That's
wasn't
exactly
a friend
right.
that I was begging to buy something, that it was a random person that was just interested in the product.
I still have the order printed on my desk, the very first rifle we sold online. That wasn't someone walking into the store, it wasn't someone that you met at a shooting event, or somebody randomly logged onto our site and gave us their money, and believed in us, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's super cool.
And that was like a milestone. That's whenever I really knew, okay, this thing's actually happening, then after that, man, it's kind of like those milestones take forever to achieve, but once you hit it, it accelerates. Things start happening very quickly, you know.
And even to this day, like I know, you know, you as the president CEO of the company, you're still actively making appearances at all types of shooting events and trade shows and everything, like, you know, like we were talking about, like with your brand, you're approachable.
That's exactly. Yeah, I hope we always maintain that accessibility. I mean, I publish my personal cell phone number on Facebook groups, and I mean, it's on our website. Yeah. I still really like talking to shooters. I still like helping people, you know, find solutions to whatever they're trying to solve. And it's important to get like that FaceTime and to actually meet people. Like when we go to SHOT Show, a lot of people want to go hang out with like the industry giants, right? You know, I still see like even some of my employees and stuff that have like that starstruck. They want to go hang out with Marty Daniel, or they want to go hang out. For me, Marty Daniel's never going to buy a rifle from me, man. You know, and I'm not going to buy one of his either. I want to hang out with shooters. I want to hang out with guys that are shooting. That's our people, man. You know,
want to hear what their problems are.
Yeah, and hear what they like, how, you know, just get feedback and take that stuff seriously. I mean, you know, never be above scrutiny and take good advice.
What kind of challenges have you faced in the customer service world? Because I imagine, dude, I know I have plenty of friends in the firearms business, whether it's parts and stuff like that. I know how brutal some of these shooters can be, because there is a group of them that assume they know more than everybody. Yeah. And it's like, you know, they're trying to jam something that doesn't fit, and they send you a picture and they're like, you fucked this up, and you're like, dude, it's backwards.
So, no, okay, so
let's hear some of these stories.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, well, I don't know if a lot of people know, you can't avoid a Sons of Liberty warranty. Okay, I've replaced guns for people whose homes were burned, you know, guns that were destroyed in house fires, people that have put 300 blackout ammo in a 5.56 gun, and we replace it. Our end user support, there's nothing like us, right? So because of that, we see some interesting shit. One of the you know, every bolt carrier group that we sell is full auto test fired after assembly. We test fire everything, and I'll get guys that have called me and, you know, complain like, hey, this thing's been used. I'm like, yeah, it's.
Yeah, I needed to make sure that you got a gun that worked, bro.
And every once in a while we get and dude, I have no problem telling them, hey man, we're probably not the company for you. You know, I'll send you a return label, you know, keep the hat, and you know, and you know, we're probably, but I mean,
if that's what your complaint is, like,
yeah, you know, and then other, you know, a lot of people are used to, you know, I want to be able to shoot, you know, a 1-inch group at 1,000 yards, you know, and I want it to do this and this and this and this. And I've got $500. I'm like, well, it was like, you know, you just like, you want Ferrari performance and you got like, you know, you go budget, man. I mean, it doesn't work. That's a little bit of a hurdle trying to explain to people why.
Are you building bolt guns?
Better. We actually once a year we'll release about 10. I think this year we're going to release 20.
Dude, I kind of want a bolt gun.
Dude, that's my passion, man. Ever since Chase Stroud and Applied Ballistics, they got me out to hit at 2 miles on my second round. Dude, that will.
What caliber?
It's called 375 lethal.
Wow.
Oh, dude, it's an 8.5 second time of flight.
Jeez.
That's contagious. That gets in your blood, man. And yeah, bolt guns that's kind of what I do when I'm not at work.
I might be hitting you up as soon as I get a Texas driver's license. I need a bolt gun in my life.
Yeah, we'll get you hooked up, man.
So yeah, I've heard the horror stories of customer service in the firearms industry. It's just a nightmare. But you guys sound like you have, you know, quite a program going over there. You have a freaking lifetime warranty on your
forever. Yeah, I mean, you know, and that's but having that kind of thing in place, it gives you a lot of confidence whenever you're dealing with somebody, because I know how insane our QC is. I know that it's assembled, test fired, inspected, test fired. You know, there's 3 sets of eyes on that weapon before it ships. So whenever it gets to, I've had people call me and they're assholes and they call me like, hey man, this gun didn't come with the bolt carrier group. I'm like, if you understood what went into every gun before it leaves, you'd understand how impossible that is. And it kind of gives, because like, you know, you're never supposed to call a customer a liar up until you know they're fucking lying. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, you know, just, you know, I mean, sometimes it's simpler and it's easier just to let them roll with it, but I'll let them know I know that you know that I know you're full of shit. You know?
But I imagine though that this loyalty program you have going on, it's turning your customers into multi-customers.
Oh,
How
yeah,
many
man.
of your customers are so happy with your first product? They're like, I want more of them.
Dude, absolutely, man. And like police departments, if a Sons Liberty rifle is used in an officer-involved shooting, we replace the gun while it goes to evidence.
That's amazing.
Because I was teaching armorers courses and I was talking to cops all over the country, and I'd see the pieces of shit that they were carrying. I'm like, why would you stake your life on this? And they're like, well, if I have to use it, I'm going to lose it. And after hearing that about 10 times, I decided, hey, man, go ahead and buy a Sons Liberty rifle, and if you have to use it, I'll replace it. Optic, suppressor, light, whatever configuration you purchased it in, that's how I'm going to send it back to you, man. Unfortunately, it's happened a few times. I've had to replace a few guns, yeah.
Well, are you guys manufacturing suppressors, or are you partnered with a suppressor?
We're partnered pretty tight with Dead Air, man. That can matches our rifle really well. It's just overbuilt. It's tough, man.
Who's Dead Air? Now, I've heard of them. I'm pretty sure I might be friends with them. Who is it?
Mike Pappas, Gary
Mike
Hughes.
Pappas. There we go. Yeah, I know Mike Pappas.
He's brilliant,
freaking
man.
hilarious.
Dude, he's a nut.
Dude,
I love that guy.
There's an old video on YouTube that I filmed. I wasn't in the video, but we were interviewing Mike Pappas in like 2012, and it was, dude, he's so funny. Is it dry? Like, there's a helicopter out back. I mean, I think it's under the shed. I don't know. You're like, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, I just thought somebody asked for a helicopter ride.
That's actually pretty spot on, man. He drives his tank around. He has a tank and like he cruises around. I'm like, that's so.
Then he'll look at you and smile. Are you gonna wear a jacket? And you're like, Mike, what the fuck are you talking about right now? He goes, exactly.
Oh, he's the best, man. And he's brilliant. He's fun. And he is the quintessential gun industry person,
Well,
man.
dude, he was part of Silencer Co. and SWR. That's what it was called, right? SWR. Or what was when they merged? They bought Silencer Co. Bought.
That's right. I forget the name, but yeah,
but
that's exactly right.
It's kind of sad. He got pushed out of that whole thing,
and he came back and kicked him in the nuts by building a better suppressor, better mount.
Well, he's a fucking Rain Man genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you met him on the street, creepier than shit. You don't know what he's talking about. Hey, do you have an extra bag? You're like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Oh, that is so perfect, man. I'm gonna have to definitely tag him in this, dude.
So awesome, man. I think anybody that's out there, whether you're looking to start a business in the firearms world, hope they learn something from your path. I love hearing stories like, I had to sell my truck and I took all my money. Like, this is the America, the cutthroat of fucking business, and this is what it takes. And the fact that your first employee's job was to give you a ride to work and take you home. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. So if you're looking for a rifle that comes with a lifetime guarantee, where can they find it?
SonsLibertyGunworks.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram. That's kind of how we communicate to most of our people.
Again, if you're out there and you have questions about buying a rifle or anything, I mean, obviously, hit Mike up. This is a downright expert that'll get back to you.
Yeah, my phone number is up everywhere, man. I legitimately love talking about guns, talking to shooters, man.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Mike. We look forward to doing the video special where I go and build a gun for a day.
Oh, I would love it, man. It'd be awesome.
I think that'll be a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Launch Code.